and welcome back to our special programming, Proud to be Indian. There were several moments in the last couple of hours when so many of you called us and said how warm it feels to see so many real Indians being felicitated and celebrated by each one of you. I want to also thank each one of you here for calling us and for supporting some of the heroes we put on air. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in this country, there are moments of great adversity which sometimes come. We spoke earlier to Commander Abhilash Tomi and about how he felt when he was facing adversity versus the elements, and I asked him, what was it that point of time which made you feel that your country is there with you? And we spoke about that. Now, last August, viewers, adversity came in a different way in the state of Kerala and regions around it. What is possibly the worst monsoon flooding that this country has seen. Thousands and thousands, some say 5, 6, 7, 8,000 homes devastated. Hundreds of people lost their lives, and a whole state and the people of Kerala were ravaged by this level of natural adversity. Viewers, at that point of time, there were one group of heroes which emerged so silently and did exceptional work. It's difficult to really point out which service did what. And I want to begin by saying that every service, people in uniform and people who are not in uniform, all came together when Kerala had been battered by the worst floods in a century. Today, we celebrate one service, and that is the Indian Navy. The Indian Navy launched Operation Madad to help and to save those stranded. They undertook a relentless, enormous, mountainous task, and truly they battled unprecedented flooding. They risked their own lives, and not only did they provide round-the-clock help, they made it look so easy. And that's the greatness of the Indian Navy, and that's the greatness of people in the forces, that they don't really talk much about what they do. But from the bottom of my heart today, and on behalf of everyone here at Republic TV, it is a great privilege to welcome 4 heroes of Operation Madad into the studios of Republic TV and Republic Bharat. I welcome today, and they are walking in, Commander Jaishankar, Captain Sudeep Malik, Lieutenant Commander Jai Prakash, and Commander Vijay Verma. First of all, gentlemen, what a moment of pride to share this stage with you. How wonderful it is to be with you. And I just want to tell all our viewers that I've just had the pleasure of speaking to them over the last few minutes waiting, and they are such exceptionally humble people. We'll talk to them, but before that, here is their story.
They are always on time. They sail the high seas. They work in gigantic steel vessels. They navigate the winds. They are the Indian Navy.
These are understood by everyone? Yes, sir! So we'll have a good parade day after tomorrow, isn't it? Yes, sir! How's the Josh? Hi, sir!
Meet the members of Operation Madad, the unsung heroes who rescued thousands from the worst floods that hit Kerala.
My name is Commander Jaishankar. I am currently the Officer in Charge Naval Construction Wing at Cochin. I joined the Indian Navy in 1989. I have 30 years of experience in the various fields in the Navy.
I'm Captain Sudeep Malik. I'm a second-generation armed forces officer.
I am Lieutenant Commander Jai Prakash. I have spent 23 years of service in Navy.
Commander Vijay Verma from the Indian Navy. I am the flight commander of the Kochi-based Chetak flight.
Excessive downpour, brimming reservoirs, and lack of preparedness. It could have gotten worse if not for them. This is Commander Jaishankar, who made the reunion of separated families in Navy camps possible in record time.
Need to wear a uniform. The pride that you get from wearing a uniform, the respect that I get from each and everyone's face when I face them in a uniform is truly a motivation in itself. And today, of course, after 30 years of wearing this uniform, I can say I have the same feeling of wearing the uniform on the day one which I had.
Captain Sudeep Malik was behind coordination and management of the entire naval rescue efforts by boat and ship. His efforts saved the lives of 16,000 people.
It has been a matter of great satisfaction that I joined the Navy, a thoroughly professional service where a sense of duty trumps every other thing. When it comes to the national interest and the interest of the service, there is never a conflict of opinion when we work.
Lieutenant Commander Jai Prakash, with just 100 naval personnel, managed a community kitchen in the city of Kochi, catering to over 10,000 people for days.
The mantra for me and my team is the person who is leaving from this compound should have a smile on his face. The satisfaction that whatever requirement he has come here for is met. And that smile is what keeps moving me and my team every day.
Commander Vijay Verma's valor helped save a pregnant woman stranded at the Kochi airport. His timely efforts helped save both the mother and the child.
We call ourselves the God's own angels from God's own country. I have been flying for 19 years now, of which 14 years have been as a qualified flying instructor. What inspires me is that every day that I step into the cockpit, I'm trying to better myself so as to better serve this fine service of the Indian Navy and better serve the nation as a whole.
It is pride that makes a nation, and in times of despair and helplessness, it was their pride that lifted the spirit of 1 billion people. There is a lot to be proud of these Indian Navy heroes. Republic TV welcomes them.
Once again, Captain Malik, Commander Vijay Verma, Commander Jaishankar and Lieutenant Commander Jai Prakash, welcome and thank you for joining me today. We were watching the horror of the terrible flooding in Kerala from our studios. And when we sent teams of reporters out there, they kept telling us about what they saw. And what I heard from them eventually told me that perhaps not even 10 to 20% of what devastation happened could even be reported, because some of the places even journalists could not reach. There was no way to reach. The only way to reach was to hop a ride with the forces. I want you to tell me the backstory of Operation Madad. How did it happen and how did you respond? And how did you coordinate with each other? Were you posted separately? How were you talking? Please.
All right. Kerala is not a disaster-prone state generally.
Yeah.
However, in August 2018, the monsoon was so heavy that 3 of the major perennial rivers of Kerala went up in flood together.
Yeah.
And that led to about 35 of the dams being opened and, millions of cubics of water coming down. And the entire state, or entire 591 kilometers of that state was flooded.
Yeah.
All national and state agencies came out together, coordinated to get disaster relief going. We in the Navy were very conscious of the fact that we, being very motivated, professionally competent, and most importantly, physically fit gang warriors,
Yeah.
it would be our responsibility to take on the lion's share of the responsibility if lives were to be saved.
Yeah.
It was an instantaneous response from the Navy. We practice and we train hard for disaster relief. It is one of our miscellaneous roles. But the enormity of this disaster, nobody could have trained for that. We really had to scale up, and we had to scale up within hours. The entire phenomena of such large-scale urban flooding was not something which the Navy is ideally equipped for.
Yes.
What was really required and what actually became the most useful weapon in our arsenal was the humble little small boat called Gemini.
Okay.
Why? Because that's a flat bottom boat, and that is what we could use in urban flooding. And so we,
it's a rubber boat?
It's a rubber dinghy.
Simple rubber dinghy.
Simple rubber dinghy.
Inflatable rubber dinghy.
With a outboard motor.
Okay.
And we mobilized our rubber dinghies called Geminis together with very fit, motivated young men, and we sent them.
And how much time was this happening? Because I want you to tell us how much time did all of you have to communicate with each other? How quickly could you react, and how did you coordinate?
There is one aspect, let me tell you, is that if you look at four of us here, during this whole set of events, we hardly set eyes on each other.
Okay.
So it is in no form, I will say that all of us coordinated with each other.
Yes.
We had a system in place, as you were asking as to how fast we reacted.
Yes.
I think the whole thing unfolded sometime on the evening of 15th of August. And from then on, Navy had started setting up, under Captain Malik, had set up a central operational center. And from that operational center, each units and people were given specific work to do. So you had...
Within how much time, Commander Verma, was all this happening?
We are talking in terms of hours.
Within hours?
Within hours.
Yes. When were you sort of made aware, or when did you realize the enormity of the devastation?
Look,
did you have any...
The enormity of the devastation actually grew.
Exactly.
Nobody could actually predict that this is going to happen.
So you no way to actually say, when this entire event was, unfortunate event was unfolding, you had no way in which you could have, predicted which area is going to get flooded in which way, and how much you could.
Never.
Absolutely.
So you were in the dark on that. So it's like operating from a whiteboard.
It was actually more reactive than predictive. What you could do was you could only react to the situation as it was happening. And as the messages kept coming in, we realized that the scope of the disaster in terms of distance and numbers was phenomenal.
Where were you, Commander Verma, at that time?
I was based out of the naval base Garuda, which is our naval air station. And so I am commanding one of the flights there, the Chetak search and rescue flight.
Right.
And probably from 16th onwards.
May I formally introduce you to all our viewers on this. Commander Vijay Verma was, by the way, congratulations on being awarded the Nausena Medal.
Thank you, sir.
And you were the Chetak pilot at that time.
That's right.
At the Naval Air Station, INS Garuda.
That's right.
And you rescued, I'm told, a total of 24 stranded people, including 2 pregnant women.
That's correct.
In the middle of all this deluge and all the chaos. So it's incredible. Congratulations for what you did. And these viewers are helicopter pilots from the Southern Naval Command.
That is correct.
Right. And they showed exemplary courage. So please, do go on.
So as I see it, in the initial times of where the destruction was at the maximum and the messages were coming in, speed was what was required. And if you ask me, speed is what the helicopters provided.
Yeah.
It was not just the naval Chetak. We had the Sea Kings, we had the ALH operating, we had the Air Force with their ALH coming in, and the Mi-17s. We also had the Coast Guard operating from the base. At any time, they were about
You were all hovering very low. I mean, when the footage came in, I'm no expert in this, but we were also worried for you, because some of the footage that we saw in those conditions, you were taking your choppers to a very low level. Yeah. Was that risky?
Of course. It is risky, but I think the difference between a trained aircrew and an act of just passion is that we are trained for this.
Yeah.
We are trained to recognize risk. We are trained to understand something known as operational risk management.
Yeah.
It all depends upon the person who's at risk.
Yeah.
And how much of a risk are you going to take? Because to rescue one person, it's 4 lives that you're putting at stake.
Yeah.
If your chopper goes down, 4 people also go down with it. So it's you have to balance the issue out. Yeah. And the criticality of the stage. Like, for example, the lady whom I rescued who was in labor at that time.
Yeah. And she was already in a terrible
pain.
Complication.
Yes. She was in pain.
In her delivery already. So.
Imagine her condition. She's out of her house. She's taken shelter in a masjid.
Yeah.
She's out of her comfort zone as it is.
Of course.
On top of that, she has to be airlifted.
Yeah.
On a thin wire and a strap surrounding her. That's all that is keeping her safe. On a chopper which is up there with winds, rain. So yeah, for her, I would say she was the braveheart in this. Wow. We went down. It was difficult. There were 700 people in that little mosque.
Yep.
Stuck on top on the first floor.
Yep.
And surrounded, of course, I mean, the problem with Kerala, as I see, is one, the large number of coconut trees, tall ones.
Yeah, because it can really come in the way of that operation.
In urban areas, and it's mostly urban. Lots of houses, lots of wires and cables and towers and buildings.
Yeah.
So we had to kind of weave our way between those and somehow find a way to safely effect a rescue. And I think it's really credible, even if I do say so. That not a single incident happened with those hundreds of sorties that we flew.
I've got a picture there on the screen, and somebody wrote thanks.
Yeah.
And a picture tells 1,000 words, viewers. And I will only say over this picture that I feel that India as a country, and I think the people of Kerala have the biggest hearts and the greatest courage through what they went through.
True.
And this is a real celebration, I think, of all the heroes who have given without asking and served without seeking any returns. What did you feel when you see a picture like this, both as a pilot and to all of you, and maybe you can just, as an Indian, how do you feel?
It's one of my choppers which was flying in that area, which actually took this photograph.
Yeah?
So I think it's a thanks to all the
So the motivated you?
Oh yeah, I still get goosebumps when I look at it.
Wonderful.
But it's we don't do it for any reward or returns.
Yeah.
But when you see something like this,
makes it worth it.
Yes, it makes it worthwhile. Not just worthwhile, it gives you a lot of strength and courage, to face it again.
Yeah.
And knowing that your countrymen are with you.
Yeah.
And it's a matter of great pride and joy for me.
Yeah. This is actually brilliant. And since I'm giving formal introductions, I want to introduce all on this side. And then come here, Captain Sudeep Malik, who is there, viewers. He was the naval officer in charge of Kerala, the whole state. Right? And I can imagine the stress. We have trouble running a channel. And you were there carrying out this level of rescue mission. And viewers, I want you to know that this man was responsible for coordinating the entire effort. So speaking to all of the brave hearts, so these are quick decisions that you had to take, because based upon your decisions, lives on the ground were at stake, and the risk factor of your own people was also, and the risk factor of your equipment, your operations, people on the ground. But what Captain Sudeep Malik did was that he actually rescued, he as in the whole forces, but this coordinated effort saved at least, I'm told, 16 to 20,000 people. And that's, I think it's a global record of a force that comes and does something like this. Please, how did you do it? And tell us about the coordination and what decisions you were taking at that time.
Right. The rescues were done by the brave young men whom I was mandated to put onto the field. While they were carrying out the actual rescue, it was my role actually to ensure that this entire operation is carried out with calm efficiency. You would understand in any devastation and a disaster of this sort is inherently chaotic.
Yeah.
And with our command and control and very strict command and control systems and training, it is our job to bring some sense of sanity in this and ensure that the entire operation is well coordinated.
Yeah.
So how did we go about doing that? So I'll give you a sense of chaos. First night itself, we received 28,000 phone calls and WhatsApp messages. By the end of the third day, we had 42,000 such calls. So I had, at the peak of deployment, we had 91 teams, that is 91 Geminis with approximately 500 men deployed.
Wow.
So 91 Geminis, how do you respond to 42,000 calls? Wow. And which of them are true?
How do you decide which to give priority when? Because every single message, and we did ask for some messages. We were trying to coordinate with some people in the NDRF, and the difficulty for anyone is to discriminate between rescue call 1 and rescue call 2.
Absolutely, and that actually was our job, to make sense of this all, which is the call to be responded. So how did we go about it? Like I said, 42,000 calls, 28,000 on the first night, and most of them were on WhatsApp, and we would insist that you send us your GPS pin along with it. So giving pointed responses, sending pointed rescue teams to each of those responses, not possible, simply because, not that we didn't want to do it, simply because the entire area was inundated. You just couldn't identify where is it that they wanted us to come. So what we did, all these GPS pins which were coming in, we plotted them all and marked out hotspots, the areas from where the maximum number of calls for rescue were coming in. And that is where we dispatched our rescue teams, and they swept the entire area. and they wouldn't stop till the time the entire area was clear of and evacuated. Again, like in war, here too, the easiest things become very difficult. How do you send the rescue teams there? All the roads were flooded. So when the roads got flooded, we took the help of the choppers to, hello drop our Geminis and teams. When the hellos would go there was no area to land. The entire area was flooded. So those are the kind of challenges which would you can't plan for that.
You can't.
And that is what we would.
You just have to, I guess, keep calm and keep everyone motivated.
Yes.
And that's an incredible job. And Commander Malik, congratulations on that. We have your parents also today in the studios, and they are watching. Viewers, I can tell you, we're really happy to have them in the studio. They must be feeling so proud of you. And I'm going to open up the phone lines for a bit and maybe take some of our audiences also to talk to you. And I would now like to formally introduce Commander Jaishankar before I come to you, Lieutenant Commander Jaiprakash. At the time when all these families were separated, at the most difficult time, when the contact was not being established, when the desperation was growing, and when everybody wanted to know, is our loved one in a stranded area or coming out, Commander Jaishankar was maintaining the record keeping and the reunion of the separated families in different refugee camps all across Kerala using technology. Now, how do you possibly ensure, Commander Jaishankar, that there is a method to the madness of what's going on in the coordination system out there to ensure that people reunite? You were actually helping children reunite with their parents.
Yes,
I want you to share some of the human stories, how it affected you, how it motivated you, and how you kept going at that time.
Now, one of the factors when the hello rescued persons started coming into the naval base, what we realized is there were most of them were the ladies and the children and old people. So which would mean that the priority was given to the ladies and the children to be rescued.
Of course.
So one factor was very clear: the family is already disunited. The men would be rescued and taken some other places. The ladies are already there with us here.
Was that difficult? Is that easier said than done?
Oh no, it is extremely difficult because not each and every one of them who are coming into that camp there, their faces speak the story. I mean, you don't have to tell anything further because they are all in distress, in ultimate distress. And most important thing, I would say it was a leveler because you had people who had stayed in 3-story houses. We had an MD doctor and his family coming in. At the same time, we had the loveliest of people who were coming in. So you had people financially well-to-do. You had people from various walks of life. All of them turning up there, but then they were all in the same distressed situation as anyone is. So first and foremost is when they reached there, we needed to calm them. And how would we calm them? So this is where I would say that it is not just the officers who are in uniform that came into play. We had the families joining in. Luckily, the naval fraternity where we were staying, thankfully did not come underwater. So the families joined in, the children joined in. They walked in there.
How wonderful.
The aspect is the ladies. They will connect it better with the ladies, you see. So that's one part. So you had the ladies walking in, you had the children coming in, and the small play area was started and started entertaining the kids so that they take their mind off from what they have been through. And then in all this, one thing which was missing was how would we inform who are there with us and to their relatives. I'm sure there are others who are looking around for their relatives. So this is when we saw that on Google, there's something called Google Person Finder. And on the Person Finder, there was one created under Kerala floods. And we started updating that data on top of it. And this being a training command, I have a lot of officers with me who are more IT savvy than what I probably am. And the youngsters are there and they have their own laptops and kits. So we just lined up, put them on the job, and they started feeding the data in. And once they started feeding the data in, and we added the telephone numbers, the landline numbers of these places, and we started receiving calls. The advantage which came out of this is that the camp which was set up in the naval base did not last more than 48 hours. We got around more than 1,000 people, but they left equally fast.
So you could therefore provide the services to that many more.
Exactly. So we had this database, and then soon the collectorate requested us for the data, and they asked us how we are maintaining it, and we passed it on to the other rescue areas.
So viewers, if you're seeing the use of technology, then you're seeing massive levels of coordination. You are taking what is a very emotionally, I think, wrenching decision of actually asking the men to separate from their own family members, women and children, and therefore there's a psychological angle to all of this. And then there is the aspect of reuniting those who were separated because of those difficult situations, and all being coordinated in this way. Because all I'm learning in all of this is that, you know, there is one battle that is fought on the borders, and there is different kind of battle that is very often fought, which happens when there are calamities like this. And it is only one thing which brings them together: discipline and a strong sense of serving the people and a sense of nationalism. That's what comes out from this conversation so far. Brilliant, Commander Jaishankar. I'm so amazed at this. And finally, Lieutenant Commander Jaiprakash, when this whole flood was happening, viewers, Lieutenant Commandant O. Jaiprakash, he was attached to INS Venduruthi. Where was this? Am I pronouncing it correct? Venduruthi. Where is it?
Venduruthi is actually the base depot unit of the Southern Naval Command.
Okay.
So even though the operations had started, the main role of Venduruthi was to provide the support, whatever was required, supplies, and whatever support was required for the operations.
So you apparently opened a huge community kitchen.
So what happened is...
and there was food prepared for those in the relief camps.
So we were just supporting all the necessary requirement from the base. But then we got a call from the administration that they needed a community kitchen to be set up in the Ernakulam district, because there were huge relief camps and a large number of people were pouring in. So we were supposed to cater for a 3,000 strength community kitchen. So we planned accordingly, we moved. When we moved to the place where we were supposed to set up the community kitchen, we saw that it was flooded already with 10,000 people. So we initially said, okay, then we assured the administration, don't worry, let it be whatever numbers, nobody will go hungry.
Wow.
And what happened is, when these supply lines were all cut, there was no roadways, the provisions were stopped. But as we were near to our base unit, the supplies, whatever was required, was coming from the base, and we were able to sustain and provide every day about 10,000 plus meals to all the people who were in the camp.
Commander Jaiprakash, so you were providing a very critical angle of supplies, and Commander Jaishankar was using technology to unite and reunite people, right? Commander Vijay Verma was using his Chetak helicopters to go down there and rescue people, and Captain Sudeep Malik was coordinating this entire effort. Don't they make it sound very easy, viewers? You look at this. I was just telling them to be more informal, and they're just, in their own wonderful way, just made it look like something they had planned for years. I, on behalf of everyone, first want to say I'm going to open up to calls. Really grateful on behalf of the nation. And when I say I'm grateful on behalf of the nation, I mean to not just you and to the Navy, but I mean because you're all symbols of men in uniform, through you to the entire forces. And which is why I really wanted to meet you today. We are preparing crazily for our Hindi channel, and I came up, and I think it's a great honor to be sitting here with you. Will you take a few calls?
Sure.
Okay? Sure. Right. Thank you. And our first caller, we have... I didn't get the first name. Shahadab Akhtar from Kolkata. And Shahadab Akhtar, hello, can you hear me? This is Arnab here.
Hello. First of all, Jai Hind. Wish you everyone happy.
Shahadab, you can hear me? Same to you. Please go ahead and talk to the Operation Madad officers. They're all here. You can talk to them.
Yes, sir. My message, if someone asks me, have you seen God, Bhagwan or Allah? My answer is yes. I have seen God, and these gods are wearing uniforms. I have seen them many channels and heard their interviews. And these gods are, and they are officers of the Indian Army, Indian Navy, and Indian Air Force.
Absolutely.
And I am the most luckiest
I so agree with you. So agree.
Those gods, I have seen them. Today I am watching on television. Sir, if I am not wrong, I have heard about Asian Award. Commander Vijay Verma and one more officer got the award. So If I'm not wrong, so wish you congratulations for this award. You deserve this.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Anything you want to say to them? Yeah.
Thank you.
To Shadab?
Thank you, Shadab. Thank you. Your encouragement only brings to us the realization that we have citizens of the country who look up to us, and we have to live up to that expectation.
I tell you, Captain Sudeep Malik, never ever even doubt that, you know, every moment when you're there in uniform, when you're doing this service, million people are offering their silent thanks to you. At every moment, we are there behind you completely. Our next caller is from Bengaluru. Srinivas from Bengaluru is calling. Hi, Srinivas. Arnab here. Go ahead. Talk to the officers.
Hello.
Go on.
So first of all, happy Republic Day to all the people in India. And Arnab, sir.
Happy Republic Day to you, Srinivas. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for bringing all the heroes of India to this on air to speak with us and to share what we want to say. I've been seeing this channel from afternoon, where I have never met the people or don't even know them. But thank you for bringing them to us through the air, through the TV. Thank you for bringing them to us. And I would also like to thank each and everyone for of the Madad scheme who has made their graceful help to all people of Karnataka, I mean Kerala. And it's from my friends whom I want to share that they're all thankful to you. They're all, we are actually from, our native is Kerala. We are from there. Thanks for helping us. Thanks for helping us.
Thank you, Srinivas. Anything you want to say to it?
Yeah, thank you, Srinivas. I think we are always there available for you at any time. And certainly, the efforts that has happened in Kerala has not been just an effort of Indian Navy, or it was a combined effort as has been seen on the media till now. So certainly, as you say, you're from Kerala, I'm sure your relatives, your friends must have also put in an effort to us. Let's continue this team effort.
Absolutely. And I would wrap this up by thanking you and saying to all our viewers that, the only takeaway from me is hashtag proud to be Indian, and remember those in uniform every single day, not just during calamities, during hardship or during conflict. Let's remember them every day and let's honor them every day. So I would certainly say that there is a fine tradition in many countries which is now growing in our country as well. And I've seen this happen in airports. When you see an officer, a personnel in uniform, when you see whether it's a CRPF Jawan, a Navy officer, an officer or personnel of the Indian Army at an airport, railway station, where you see them, salute them and they salute you back. That small acknowledgement, I think, sometimes puts this country together, brings us together. I thank you so much for joining me today. What a pleasure to be with you, and happy Republic Day, gentlemen. Thank you.